Good morning or afternoon, depending on where you're watching from. I am Christopher Tolisano, just getting the workout in today. And if you guys have any questions about fitness, health, wellness, living a long time, being healthy, moving more, getting your mind right, that's what I do. I am an athletic trainer. I went to the University of Florida. In 2006, I graduated with my athletic training degree. And since then, I've been working in the private personal training space, working one-on-one with clients of all ages. I started seeing stroke and traumatic brain injury clients back in 2006. So I have a lot of neuro experience, lots of experience working with injury rehab. As an athletic trainer, we are educated in basically physical therapy techniques. We can work with a physical therapist, with orthopedic surgeons, with so let me see if I can turn this down a little bit. We basically we're the guys that, we're the people that run out on the field when an athlete goes down. We are trained to work with emergency care, so we have to determine, the decisions to make to keep an athlete safe when they get injured, whether it's a spinal cord injury, a concussion, an open fracture. We're trained in first responder, emergency care techniques. Then we, as athletic trainers, we then make the decision to refer out to a doctor, orthopedic surgeon, and then when the surgeon, say the athlete needs a surgery, they come back to us after surgery, and then we oversee the rehab protocol, strength conditioning program, and then return to play back to their sport. So that's what an athletic trainer does. As a business owner, I started my business in 2010, and it's called Best Day Fitness. Best Day Fitness. We are located in sunny St. Petersburg, Florida, and I opened my business in 2010, and we've been going strong ever since. Working with, generally we see a lot of seniors, like 50 plus. A lot of my clients have had such success with me, they've referred all their friends. So fortunately, word of mouth has been great for my business. So as an entrepreneur, customer service, treating your customers right, making them feel better, getting them healthy, helping them to live longer, is great for business. Great for testimonials, helping one human out. They tend to tell their friends about us. So that's how we've grown our business here at Best Day Fitness. And all of our trainers here, we have personal trainers, physical therapists, massage therapists. We work with health and wellness practitioners here in the area, from Chinese medicine to orthopedic surgeons. So we like to curate a team of health and wellness professionals in order to get our clients and our patients the care that they need so that they can live a long and productive life. There's so much we can do to prevent so many injuries and diseases, and it's becoming a little bit more, talked about, more trendy, if you will, more common for people to seek preventative measures. Dr. Attia, as one of the doctors that I follow a lot, he's mentioned medicine 3.0 and how medicine 2.0, which is our current system, is kind of dropping the ball when it comes to prevention. A lot of doctors like to, well, they're trained to fix things when they break, but we need to be focusing more on fixing them before they break. So fitness and wellness is a big part of that. Moving every day safely, getting stronger, getting your bones strong, getting your muscles strong, most importantly, getting your brain strong is one of the best ways to live a long health span, as Dr. Attia says. So health span is important. I work with a lot of clients that are over 50, and I see a lot of people that don't exercise, and they're 50-year-olds, and they're absolutely miserable. And they're unhealthy, they're overweight, and they're spiraling downward. And I work with 80-year-olds that are running marathons. So it really depends on the decisions you make today going forward. Are you going to do the things each day to improve your health span in the future? Are you looking at your life from a preventative lens? Or are you just eating cheeseburgers, smoking cigarettes, drinking beer, living your best life, but maybe not looking at the long-term consequences? I get it. I used to drink a lot. I used to be very unhealthy. But now I really dedicate my life to getting good sleep, getting good movement, eating right, managing my stress. As a business owner, stress management is super important. So we want to do all the things on a daily basis that we can do as humans to improve our lifespan and increase our longevity here on Earth. That's why I'm pulling this sled back and forth while I'm talking to you. So I'm going to be working out today, just talking about some stuff that I'm learning and doing, and taking questions from y'all. And if you have any specific questions that you want to ask me about injury rehab, brain health, sleep improvement, exercise, all kinds of whatever you want to ask. I've got about 20 years of experience working with lots of people. I'm very focused on my own education. I love learning new things every day. I read a lot of up-to-date research on what's trending in longevity science. What are the exercise programs, the nutrition plans? What are the ways that the new ways people are finding to live longer and healthier? But I'm always focusing on how can I improve both my own lifespan and my clients and my family's lifespan by learning as much as I can and teaching others as much as I can. I'm all about, when I learn something, I want to teach it to others. Because if I'm learning something that can change a life and I'm not teaching it to others, then I'm doing the human race a disservice by not sharing that knowledge. And I think that's how we all grow, by learning and sharing. We all have a limited amount of time on Earth. So each day, learning something and sharing that knowledge to help others, if we could all do that, it would be a lot better human race, So I'm here for you guys. Ask me questions to, what are you doing for working out? What do you enjoy challenging your body with? What are some areas that you need some help with? What are you doing for your nutrition? There's all kinds of ways to be healthy. There are lots of ways to be unhealthy. Lots of vices out there. So how can I help you? Best Day Fitness is all about helping people live their best lives. I've spent a lot of time being injured, being in pain. I've rehabbed a lot of my own injuries. I've rehabbed countless injuries from others. I've had I played rugby for about 20 years, thereabout. So I've got lots of concussions. So brain health is super important to me. I've broken lots of bones, torn lots of ligaments, separated joints, dislocated things. And I'm 43 years old now and trying to get younger every year. My birthday's coming up September 24th. I decided this year I'm gonna start counting backwards. So instead of 44 this year, I'm gonna be 42. Because I'm gonna live each day that I have on this earth thinking about being younger, telling myself I'm getting younger, planting that seed to just have that positive thought in my head that, yeah, my cells and my DNA are saying to get older, but I'm gonna do all I can, exercising every day, sleeping great every night, enjoying life, having a positive attitude, and just really living that best day lifestyle every day. And you know what? It's tough. I mean, I'm human. I own a business. It's stressful. Some months, you can't pay my bills. That's part of running a business. That's part of being a compassionate healer and then asking for money to do your job to help people. Some months are harder than others. Tying a business into your purpose, which is helping others and helping others help others. It's challenging when you tie your purpose with a business because business and compassion don't always align. And there's some months where, I have to show up and be positive and be motivational. And I'm just really, roughed up on the inside with stress and negative thoughts and what am I going to do about my bills? But you know what? It's all temporary. It's all something that in the end it doesn't matter. But what does matter is this time I have right now with you guys, with my clients, with my family, this time on earth in which I can impart positivity and knowledge that I've learned unto others to help them to live their best life. So if I can help somebody today and they can go out and help somebody because I help them, then hey, that's a win for the day. I'm okay with that. I can go to bed every night, lay my head on my pillow, and realize I've made a difference in the world. And when I wake up the next day, I get to do it all over again. So I just count my blessings that I'm fortunate enough to live in a country where I can make my own choices and get an education and open my own business and have the support of a flourishing business community here in St. Petersburg, Florida. I also host the Entrepreneur Social Club every Thursday night, and I get to meet a lot of other business owners in different professions. And it's really refreshing to watch other people who are compassionate and empathetic try to make a difference with their business models and try to impart a positivity to the world with their business, whether it's helping other people get stronger, like myself, or whether it's helping people to be financially stable, like an accountant or something. So I love entrepreneurs. I myself obviously am one, and it can get in the way sometimes of of helping others because I still gotta pay the bills. But you know what? In the end, it's all about helping others and being positive as you do it. So, all right, that concludes my warm-up. As you could tell, I was pushing a sled back and forth. I like to use the sled for a few minutes to warm up all my muscle tissue from my toes up to my neck and head. So using a full body functional pattern like pushing a sled is super optimal for warm-ups. It's a great way to, get the knees loose, get the hips loose, get all your big muscles pumping blood so that you are getting your heart rate up. As you can tell now that I'm standing up and talking, I'm having a little trouble breathing. That is because my heart is pushing blood to all my tissues. All my tissues are producing carbon dioxide, and my heart is having to get that carbon dioxide out to my lungs and then out my breath. So nice to kind of take a deep breath, let my heart catch up. Now, today's going to be functional movement exercises. I'm going to do just random shit today. I'm going to be all over the place. If you have questions about what I'm doing, feel free to post them in the comments, and I will answer any questions as I get them. So let's come over. Let's come back here. Oh, I'm back. All right, so one of the next exercises I'm going to do is the treadmill. I'm going to walk backwards on a treadmill while it's powered down. Let me get the other tripod stand over here. Hope everyone's having their best day ever. I'm super excited to be here on this rainy Sunday here in St. Petersburg, Florida. Here at my favorite place to be, other than my home, my work home, Best Day Fitness. Best Day Fitness is my baby. I've owned Best Day since 2010. We are a functional training space. We have a curated list of healers that we employ here or run their own business here. We have physical therapists, personal trainers. I'm kind of do a little wide angle. So we got cool toys. We got the free motion machine. We have treatment tables, squat racks. We got the suspension system. The suspension system's awesome. It's like adult monkey bars. It's great. If you want to do some American Ninja Warrior stuff, that's your toy right there. We've got dumbbells. We've got, this is cool. I gotta show you guys this. This is our Staiku 3D body scanner. Let's go here. So we got the Staiku 3D body scanner. I use that with my new clients to give them a baseline of their, basically it's a 3D representation of their body. We do measurement. It does digital measurements of about 20 locations on their body: neck, biceps, forearms, chest, waist, hips, quads, left to right measurements down to the 10th of an inch. So we can really dial in the detail of what we're trying to achieve with their program design, whether it's weight loss or maybe they're coming off an injury and they want to improve the strength of a limb that was affected. So we got that. Where did I put the? Sorry, where did I put the tripod? All right, so I'm going to go back to the treadmill now, and we're going to get some backwards treadmill walking so that I can warm up my posterior chain of my body. Walking backwards on the treadmill is super important for, it's kind of a great warm up before functional training. It is really great to work the back of the body, glutes, hamstrings. Let's see, let's get this tripod set up. Just bear with me 1 second. All right. Glutes, hamstrings, calves, all the muscles in the back of the body, the lower back. And put us here. All right, so I'm going to set us here and talk to you guys while I'm walking backwards on the treadmill. All right, so just take a treadmill and you're going to push your butt up against the back of the treadmill. You don't have to turn the treadmill on. I'm just going to walk backwards. Now it might be a little squeaky, so I'll try to talk loud. For some reason, this treadmill is squeaky when I walk backwards on it. Not when I turn it on, actually use it the recommended way. The walking backwards is something that we don't do a lot of, so we haven't unlearned how to walk backwards. Like a lot of us have kind of, because we walk forward a lot, we can compensate and kind of walk forward with improper or bad form due to old injuries, due to compensation, due to muscle imbalances. So I like to just reset my brain by walking backwards on the treadmill. Walking backwards out and about is also very functional. Make sure you are aware of your surroundings if you're walking backwards out in the real world, because you don't want to be walking into traffic. So walking backwards on a treadmill actually produces a little bit more force because you're having to move the belt with your own muscles. So you're not really using a lot of momentum. It's a very concentric movement pattern with my quads, with my glutes, and it takes a little coordination. Holding on, if you're just getting started, holding on to the bars is always a good idea. And as you're advancing, you can actually pull down into the arms, which actually compresses your skeleton a little bit and adds a little bit more force into your feet. So you are getting more stimuli of the muscles in your legs. So not a bad thing to be always increasing your intensity. Safely, that is. You want to progressively overload your muscles and your heart and your cardiorespiratory system. So when you are first getting started with this, just walking backwards, this is a good warm-up before you work out. If you're in a gym and people start looking at you funny, like, why are you on the treadmill backwards? Just explain to them that you want better posture, you want better posterior strength, and you want healthy knees, hips, back, and that's going to be beneficial for continuing to improve your fitness and wellness for your lifespan. So increasing your lifespan by stressing your body out with exercise. Stress is both a good and a bad thing. We have to stress our bodies out in order to get stronger. The old saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, is basically the whole reason why exercise works, because it's stressing your body, stressing your muscles, stressing your joints, so that they have to heal stronger, so that the next time you do that same activity, it's going to be that much easier. So, just kind of, I've done the sled so far today. I did about 10 laps on the sled. Now I'm on the treadmill for a few minutes just to kind of, again, continue warming up all my muscles in my knees and my hips. And also just get my heart rate up. Got a little bit of sweat going now. I'm about 10 minutes into my workout. And this is really obnoxious. Sorry, this treadmill's a little loud, so you can probably barely hear me. So let's get into some other exercises with less aggravating, annoying treadmills. So I'm gonna do some, let's see here. I'm gonna do some split squats to warm up. I'm a big fan of knees over toes. Ben Patrick's ATG program, Athletic Troop Group. I've been following him for a while. When I first got out of school, I was all like, man, you can't let your knees pass your toes. That's gonna hurt you. But then once I started kind of putting it all together, I was like, well, that makes a lot of sense. So split squat's really good for increasing not only the strength of your quadriceps, but also the length of your quadriceps. And same thing with let's come back here. Okay, so we're going to do some split squats. I'm going to alternate. Now the thing here is this is a really good stretch on your calves. It's a really good stretch on your hip flexor, the back leg. It's a really good stretch on your quadriceps, your glutes, all kinds of things stretching. Now if you hold the stretch, you're going to kind of get into a passive static mode, and we don't want to be too passive or static now that we're into the workout. I want to be more engaged, bringing blood to the muscles so that we can get deeper and more active contractions of the muscles now that we're past our warm-up phase. Now, on our cool down, after I've gone through my whole workout program, we can get into some more passive static stretches to improve flexibility. But this series, or this set of exercises, is really good for mobility, which is asking your muscles to go through a full range around those joints and come out of it with good form, with good ability, with good control. If you're going down and you're all over the place, grab something, put a chair next to you. I'm starting a little higher on the platform. We can go lower for a deeper stretch. So if we go right to the ground here, it's going to be more lengthened stretch through the quads, through the back hip flexor, and my calves actually get a good stretch as well. So these are great for warming up all of your big muscle groups of your body, your quadriceps, your groin. And actually, we're past kind of warm up now. We're into strengthening and lengthening. So never a bad thing to start getting into some deeper poses, some deeper exercises when you are thoroughly warmed up. Your heart rate's up, get a little sweat going. And now we're getting into more of the stressing the muscle tissues out, making them stronger with repetition, kind of increasing the load on the muscle by putting your body into more dynamic positions, going deeper into the angles of the joints so that the muscles are getting into their lengthened position. There's a principle called the length-tension relationship, which says that as a muscle stretches, it gets weaker. As it shortens, it gets stronger. So if I hold a bicep curl, hold a weight here, and I lower it down nice and slow, that's kind of easy. I've got that shortened bicep, so I have more force output from the bicep. And then as I get lower, then the bicep muscle stretches out and it produces less force. So that same weight is going to be harder to bring back up than it is to hold up here and then lower. So getting your muscle into getting any muscle into that lengthened position is going to challenge it from its weakest, most vulnerable position. So if we tear a muscle, we don't usually tear it when it's in its shortened position. We generally tear it when it's in its lengthened position. That's because the muscle just can't do what you're asking it to do, and if you're putting too much load onto it, like a heavy weight, that muscle is vulnerable when it's in that lengthened state. So very important to train through the full range of motion in order to prevent injuries. If you're an athlete and you're training in a short range of motion, and then you go out in the field, you're going to put those muscles through longer ranges, and if they can't handle it, that's when you're going to hurt something. That's when you're going to roll an ankle or tear an ACL or tear a hamstring. Those are all generally movements that happen when the muscle is going through its full range and can't stabilize the joint. So I forget how many of these I've done. I'm kind of just yapping and contracting. But I'm kind of doing an endurance day today, kind of not really working strength as much. If I wanted to do more strength on this exercise, I could add dumbbells, I could hold deeper, I could put things over my head, I could do rotational, I could add some different variations to the exercise. But today I'm just kind of doing some basic stuff just to keep my body limber. It's a rainy day outside. I'm 43 years old, woke up feeling tight, as we do as we get older. I'm a recovering rugby addict. So my body's seen a lot of injuries, so I do wake up with aches and pains, and I address those by moving more and correcting my imbalances so that those aches and pains are managed, and I can live most of my days with limited pain. But again, you know, as we get older, we have injury history, or a lot of injuries in our past. You're gonna have scar tissue, you're gonna have adhesions, you're gonna have different things that are pulling on your joints that are different from the way we were born. That's just part of living. So being able to correct the imbalances that occur from those is going to allow you to continue to progress, get stronger, and live a longer, healthier, importantly, pain-free life, which is not a bad thing. Believe me, pain is debilitating. I thought when I was 35, I could barely bend my knees. I thought that was it. That was about the time I started training barefoot. That's a whole other conversation, but I work out barefoot all the time now. I wouldn't have it any other way. But on that note, we're gonna do some other stuff here. I wanna do some upper body now that I am nice and warm. As you can see, I got a nice little base of sweat going. All right, so I'm gonna do some pull-ups. Pull-ups are one of the fundamental, foundational exercises that I work people towards, because being able to hold your body weight up is very functional. It's something that recruits a majority of your upper body muscles. It's gonna get your heart rate up. It's going to just make you feel more confident and capable out in the real world, depending on what you know, if you're lifting something, carrying something. If you can hold your whole body weight up, it's going to improve the strength of so many systems in your body, so many of your muscles. Your grip strength is going to improve, and grip strength is a direct kind of measurement of how much function you have as you get older, how much independent living you have. So if you're not doing things that challenge your grip strength as you get older, you're going to lose that ability to hold on tight to things. You're going to be more susceptible to injuries, to things that are going to have your independence decrease and have to rely on other people. So I don't want you to have to rely on other people. I want you to be able to do what life throws at you, and holding positions like pull-ups is one of the best things that you can do for that. So I'm going to do a pull-up hold here. Actually, I'm just going to do some, I'm going to hang on just for a second. Over here so you see me. All right, so we're just doing a little hang here. Just kind of get some stress through my wrist, my shoulders, my elbows, my spine, and just kind of swinging, just kind of opening everything up. And what a lot of people do here is they kind of shrug up their shoulders. You can lift your breastplate up a little bit. That's going to make it a lot more challenging. It's going to be less of a hang and more of a kind of getting into a pull-up variation. So hanging is stretching all your muscles out. You're kind of using the ligaments and the tendons and the actual bones to kind of hold you in place. So it's easier than holding doing a pull-up because you're not exerting as much force through the muscles. You're kind of hanging on your frame, if you will, versus pulling the weight up through the muscles. So when I have to go from here to here, now my muscles are having to do a lot more work. They're having to lift my 198 pounds up towards the hands and then control that weight on the way back down. So I don't really have a preference on handhold. Some people like reverse grip, some over, some wider, some narrower. Do what feels comfortable to you. If you're forcing yourself into a grip because you saw it online, you saw some influencer that has a nice chest, a nice back, doing some weird grip angle, and you're like, ooh, I gotta try that. Find what position feels good for you, because ultimately, you have different shoulders, you have different frame, you have different height. There's all kinds of different variables that go into a successful pull-up. Just like a squat, you know, some people are like, oh, you gotta go wide, so you gotta go narrow, you gotta go, you know, knees out, knees in. It all depends on your mechanics, your anatomy of your hips, your knees. So pull-ups the same way. If you are holding, you know, if you want to go wide, I mean, you know, let me step this back so you can see a little bit more. So if you want to go a little wider with it, that's fine. Do that. It's going to work muscles differently. It's going to work your forearms differently. It's going to work your chest, your lats differently. So if I go wider here, let's get here so you see. All right, so I'm wider here. And that kind of, I feel it down in my lats more. I feel my forearms working a lot more. I feel my chest working. It's just a whole different, it's a whole different set of angles. Staying in one angle all the time is going to set you up for repetition injury. So if I constantly do wide, I'm gonna start putting too much load on certain joints in that same angle too often. You wanna mix it up so you're always changing the angle of the shoulders, the elbows, the wrist, every body part when you're working out. Now make sure if you change the angle, don't do 1,000 of that one angle. You want to then maybe do 20 or 30 and then switch it up and then mix it up. Always be stimulating your body in different planes of movement, different angles, different resistances, different holds, concentrics, eccentrics, isometrics. Now, if you are older, isometrics can raise your heart rate, or your blood pressure a little bit. So I would avoid isometrics if you have heart condition or you're a little older. In cases like that, if you want to do isometrics, you can do like pulses. So for example, an isometric pulse would be something like holding a position and then just doing little ranges versus just holding the position. So those pulses will kind of keep that blood pressure from elevating too high and stressing out your heart. So if you are older, be wary of that. Isometrics can be a little bit dangerous. So, you know, always make sure you're okay to exercise through your doctor. Make sure you know your limitations and you are cleared by a medical professional to exercise. If you're not sure, go get checked out. Get your yearly physical, get your blood pressure, make sure you're safe to exercise. Don't just jump into it without any knowledge of, hey, does my heart work? Do I have an existing condition I don't know about? Do I have any respiratory issues? Do I have any cognitive stuff going on? All of these things that, you know, just your primary care physician, your yearly physical can oftentimes rule out, so the doctor can be like, yeah, you're clean, you're clear bill of health, let's get you exercising. So always check with your medical professional. So, sorry, got off on a tangent there. So let's do some different variations of pull-ups. So we did wide, let's go narrow. So this is going to be a whole different, my hands are back. I can switch my hands in alternating grip if you want. Those are different variations. I'm all about variations. I'm all about mixing it up. If you can't tell, we can go narrower. I can actually just walk back and forth. That's pretty hard itself. Keeping everything kind of like a semi-isometric, kind of pulses. Whew. We can go back to a hang. Maybe you're like tired, but you still want to, maybe your muscles are tired, but you still want to keep your heart pumping blood. So we can kind of do more of like an active recovery where now we're hanging. We're keeping my forearm muscles working. If you're bored and you want to do some leg stuff, you're always welcome to get your hip flexors engaged. So those are just some different variations of pull-ups. Generally speaking, most of my clients, no matter what age, I'm going to work them towards a pull-up body weight pulling exercise or a hang pull-ups. If one of the things that, getting tired, that was tough. Pulling movements like the muscles of our back, the lats, the rhomboids, those muscles generally get a little weaker for most people because we sit too much, we round forward a lot. If we do work out, we tend to look at that thing, the mirror, and we look at the muscles
in the front of the body, the mirror muscles. Whenever we are engaging all the mirror muscles, we're generally making ourselves stronger in the front, which will pull us forward, versus the muscles in the back of the body, which keep us more upright. So be careful when you are working out that you are working the back and the front, but definitely focus on the back a little bit more. If you have a history of working out, more than likely the back muscles are going to be a little weaker than the front muscles. That's why a lot of people have back issues, because we sit too much and we don't strength train our lower back and our posterior chain of the body as much as we need to. So, all right, so far we've done the sled push, we did backwards walking on the treadmill, we did split squats to get the legs working, we did pull-ups, different variations of pull-ups to get some of the posterior chain working. Let's get into some functional, like on the ground, pushing, kind of body weight stuff, some calisthenics. I'm just gonna make these up as I go, as I often do. I like to make exercises up. Maybe they'll look like some things you've seen before. Sometimes I do variations of things I've seen. A lot of good ideas out there if you're on the web looking at different exercises. Let's see, got a mirror here. We can kind of see some different angles here. All right. You see me there? Oh, we're a little crooked there. Little crooked there. All right, there we go. All right, so let's do some floor stuff. Getting on the floor and just holding your body weight up is challenging enough. That's why push-ups are so effective. There's a reason for that. All right, so let's come from an angle so you see me. All right, so we got just a basic push-up plank hold. Holding this position for most people is a challenge. If this is a challenge, bring the knees down. It's not going to make you any less cool by putting your knees down. It's going to mean that you're aware of your limitations and your weaknesses, and you're trying to make them stronger. So starting here and holding for 2 minutes is really hard. Just keeping your core engaged, keeping your neutral spine alignment, you're not dropping in, you're not sticking your butt up, just keeping here. It's going to be challenging for most people if you hold it long enough. But if that's real easy, go up onto the feet, or up on the feet, elbows, or excuse me, hands and feet. So we got push-up position here. Now, just me holding this position, my heart rate is up. So you can do this, it's safe as long as your back is not up or down. Neutral is always safe. Now, you can go into those ranges. You can squeeze your butt and kind of stretch your hip flexors out, kind of do like a down dog in yoga. That's fine as well. And then if you want to get your shoulders working, you can push back through your shoulders and stick your butt up. Those are fine. Those are different exercises. I have nothing wrong with those. But if you're just starting a foundational kind of push-up position, this is going to be your optimal, challenging start position that's safest on your back, safest on your spine. All right, so let's mix it up a little bit. If we want to make it a little harder, we want our feet together. When our feet are together, let's see, walk around. So my feet are together. I can squeeze my knees together to get my groin working. That alone is really hard. It's an isometric contraction. It's working the muscles in between your knees. I'm gonna come on up for a second, because my arms are getting tired. So, bringing your knees together, squeezing your knees, works the inner thigh, your adductor muscles. Those are the muscles that add, add the leg back to the midline of the body. Those are going to be groin muscles. The opposing muscles of those are your glute medii, which is abduction, abduction. B as in boy, abduction. There's a band called the hip abduction. So I always think of them when I do that. So hip abduction. So you can actually squeeze your knees together for strengthening your groin, walking your feet out to get your glutes working. So what that would look like is we're going knees together, or then we can go knees apart. And then that's working my glutes. Now, making sure that your butt is not dropping, your butt's not raising, staying neutral the whole time. A push-up hold is one of the more challenging core exercises you can do. You can do sit-ups till your face turn blue. You're not gonna create abs by doing more sit-ups. Now, you can create abs, not create, they're already there. You can see them, I guess you could say. You can see your abs more if you start burning the fat away from them. But keeping your core strong with good abdominal strength, oblique strength, transverse abdominis strength, all those muscles that go around the midsection and support your spine, they're considered spinal stabilizers. They're also considered pelvic stabilizers. So those muscles, when they're working together, as you start to lose body fat and you condition those muscles more, yes, you'll be able to see them. They're not ever going to get like big enough that they push the body fat out of the way. You need to get the body fat down so you can see those muscles. But it's a challenge for most people because it's one of the last places we burn fat from. So if you're going to do abdominal work, doing sit-ups could potentially, if you do too many of them, it could make your back weaker. Sit-ups are not a bad thing when you do them intermittently or not all the time. If you're doing sit-ups every day, you're probably gonna, unless you're balancing it out with lower back stuff, you're probably gonna set yourself for some imbalance that could hurt you at some point. So, long story long, holding a push-up position will get those muscles recruited and remind you to maintain that neutral anatomical position of your spine, which is healthy for your back and for your whole body for that matter. Because if you've got back pain, everything else is going to compensate for that. So be wary if you are doing abs. Do a push-up hold. You're going to work your abs, believe me. Keeping that core engaged. Now, you can relax that muscle and when you're in a push-up position. So if I'm here and I'm not engaging that, I'm just like letting it go versus engaging it, that is a voluntary contraction that you have control over. Telling the muscles to work voluntarily, consciously, is going to be very important for maintaining those muscles, improving their strength, improving their contraction rates, improving the time that they can contract, because you're voluntarily, consciously telling those muscles to recruit. Your brain subconsciously likes to turn muscles off throughout the day pretty much all the time. So right now while I'm talking to you, my muscles, my abs are not working. My glutes aren't working because my brain says, hey, those require a lot of calories, and my hunter-gatherer genes are like, we don't know when we're going to eat again. So my brain thinks I might not eat for the next couple of days because my organism is used to living out in nature like our ancestors did for thousands and thousands of years before we started having access to plentiful calories. So our brain is really good at subconsciously deactivating most of your muscles in your body. So we work out to recruit them, but we can also recruit them voluntarily just by engaging them throughout the day while we're walking, while we're talking, while we're standing, sitting, doing whatever. Activating those muscles, contracting them voluntarily while you're in the movements, in the exercises is super important, and it's going to give you that, again, that consistency of reminding your brain that, hey, these muscles have a purpose, you need to use them more, I'm gonna eat later, I promise, we're gonna have a plethora of calories accessible to us, so I will feed you. So let's burn some calories now, let's engage those muscles, let's make them stronger, and that's gonna make a huge difference in being able to improve your posture, prevent future injuries, and just make you stronger and feel better in general. All right, so we did sled, we did the treadmill, backwards walks, we did split squats, we did pulls, pull-ups, we did push-ups, kind of variations to kind of work on some of the pushing muscles. So we've kind of gone all around the globe of the body, worked all the big muscles. We are going, now I'm gonna get a little more dynamic because I wanna get a little bit more of a challenge in because that's what I do. I want to get a little bit more active and a little stronger every day. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to let's put this here. So I've got quite a little bit of sweat sweat stain going here, getting some muscles working. All right, so I want to do some more active, I'm getting back into some more explosive stuff, training my body to start getting back into playing some rugby again. So I want to get a little more agility, more plyometric, more jumping movements integrated into my program. Because I have a history of knee issues, I've been kind of off and on with the right knee issue over the last couple years. It tends to swell up after intense bouts of activity. I probably have some meniscus trauma. I know years ago I got a MRI on it, had a lot of cartilage damage. But I'm not really a believer that my knees need surgery. They need balance. They need the right muscles to do the right things at the right time. So when I'm conditioning my muscles around my knee to work more and work more often and be more explosive and be stronger, I am correcting the imbalances that may occur if I'm doing too much glutes, doing too much groin, doing too much quads, doing too much hamstring. I want to work all of the muscles equally as much as I can so that my knees are tracking properly. They're not rolling out or in. The kneecaps and the toes tend to point the same direction when I am exercising, when I'm lunging, when I'm jumping. So we're going to do more active lunge movements here. I want to do more like a plyometric style lunge. Now that I'm nice and warm, I'm going to start slow. I'm going to do some short stance lunge jumps. So we're going to drop the back knee down. I'm going to do about 10 of these just to kind of train my brain what muscles that I want my brain to activate. So I'm just going into the movement, kind of setting the ranges that I want to incorporate in this exercise. So this is sometimes called a split squat, or I call it a narrow stance lunge. And I'm also kind of testing my knee vulnerability. My medial side of my knee is generally what hurts if I do things improperly, or if I'm having a flare-up. So going into more dynamic movements, I want to kind of work my way up to them versus jumping right into it. Because if I jump right into it, I haven't told my brain what I want my muscles and my joints to do. So I've kind of done a few of those. I'm just going to now just kind of go a little faster. Just to kind of speed up the contraction rate of the muscles that I'm asking to work. And then I'm kind of pushing off that front leg a little bit more. And now I'm going to start going into more of that plyometric zone where now I'm jumping, switching feet midair. Jumping, switching feet midair. So this becomes plyometric. Plyometric simply means jumping or springing. Whew. And it gets your heart rate up. So plyometrics are basically before an athlete is ready to go back on the field after an injury, we want to make sure they can do sport-specific movements. If I'm a basketball player and I'm coming off a knee injury, I got to be able to jump if I want to get back on the court. So I need to be able to load up my spine on my legs and be able to jump. So if I'm rehabbing a knee and I'm just doing machine-based stuff and slow movements, that's not sport-specific. So we want to start, as an athlete progresses through their strength and conditioning program back to return to play, we need to be able to make sure they can put those joints through a range, through an explosive contraction that they will see when they're playing their sport. So being able to do plyometrics is kind of like, once you check the plyometrics box, that means that athlete is pretty close to returning to their sport. So it's kind of one of the last steps in the rehab process. So I'm going to continue that now that I've talked a little bit. Let me step back so you see me a little bit. And because I want to get back to playing rugby again, touch rugby, I don't tackle people anymore. My wife would probably divorce me if I got back on the field and started tackling people. I miss it, I love it, but it's just, at this point in my life, not necessary to risk the injury. I'd rather just go play some touch rugby, work on my conditioning, my agility. So I know I'm going to need to be able to, be able to be explosive and be able to jump and be able to twist and turn and take and change directions. So being able to improve my explosive reaction time is going to be benefited from things like plyometrics, things like agility, jumping, hopping, changing directions, working on different planes of motion, whether it's rotational, sagittal, frontal, sagittal, all those different planes, and then putting those all together. So plyometrics are a good way, because you're jumping and landing, there's going to be a rotational component at the ankles, the knees, the hips, that your muscles need to be able to control as you're going up, as you're coming down. So just like in a sporting event, you're going to do things that require quick, explosive movements. Can you do it in the gym? If you can't, you're probably not ready to get back on the field. One of the common injuries I see is the weekend warrior injury. I don't work out during the week at all, and then on Saturdays, I go play tennis, or I go play flag football with my friends, and I blow up my ACL. And I wonder, how did that happen? Because you haven't been conditioning the muscles, the joints, to be able to handle that kind of impact, that kind of physical change, the directional change, the momentum shifts, the inertia, being able to stop and go and speed up and slow down, the acceleration, the deceleration, being able to train for your sport, being able to train for whatever life throws at you, happens in your workout program. It happens when you're at the gym, working out with your trainer, working out with a strength and conditioning coach, with your physical therapist. This is the time where you get better at what you want to do. And most people that come to see me are older, and they want to not fall on their face and break a hip. They don't want to fall going down the stairs. They want to be able to get up and down off the ground. That's my demographic. My education taught me to work with athletes. This goes great for athletes of all ages, 18 to 80 or 90 or whatever. Being able to jump, land safely, twist, turn, rotate your body under lots of load, adding weight to it, adding different directional changes to it, is only going to prevent you from hurting yourself, and is only going to make you a better athlete, whether it's the athlete at soccer or football, or it's an athlete at life. Just being able to go for a nice walk out on the beach, walk up a mountain, go hiking, carry some groceries inside. Whatever it is you need to do, agility and plyometric are one of those great preventative exercise modalities that will make everything easier. If you can sprint, if you're going to go to fall, everybody falls. Like, no matter what age you are, you don't fall anymore as you get older. You just don't catch yourself as much. So catching yourself is the direct. It comes down to whether your brain can quickly fire that muscle to catch yourself. So if I'm falling, I'm either going to fall on my face, put my arm out, or I'm going to lift my foot and catch myself. I fell like 5 times last week, but I caught myself 5 times last week. So you don't fall more as you age, you just don't catch yourself. So being able to catch yourself, do a dynamic lunge movement, that's super preventative. It's great for being better at sports. It's great for being better at life. So if you can do plyometrics and be able to spring back and forth, you're not going to worry about falling. And that's going to save you hip surgeries. It's going to save you hospital bills. It's going to save you rehab bills. It's going to save you being able to get back to work instead of lost time at work. If you're your own business owner and you hurt yourself, you can't run your business. Who runs your business? If you're a solopreneur. So preventing injuries should happen when you're working out. So working your way up to plyometric workouts, jumping, hopping on one leg. Let me see if I can hop my right leg. Yeah, that's my right knee. Okay, I can do that today. Sweet. Like I said earlier, my knee's a little wonky. I'm rehabbing a little bit, but these are the things I do to rehab it. So, hopping backwards. This is my strong leg. Hopping forwards. Now let's try it on the bad leg. It doesn't like it as much, but it's getting better. Couldn't do this a couple weeks ago. And a lot of that's confidence too. Confidence in the ability for that injured side to work after an injury. A lot of strength training is building confidence in a joint's ability to do its job. If you have a right knee injury, you've been shifting over your left, you're limping around, not putting any weight on that right. You're simply just getting stronger on the left, weaker on the right. So a lot of times when I'm rehabbing people and I start getting them working the weaker injured side, let's say I see somebody temporarily rehab an injury and then maybe they like, okay, I'm gonna go out, do my own stuff, and thanks for everything, I feel better. Not all my clients stay around for life. A lot of times I rehab them, they go out, they do their own things, new injury comes up, they come back and see me. So sometimes when they come back and see me, what they've done is they've ended up doing too much work on the injured side, and now the once dominant side is weaker, and now the injured side is stronger. So it goes both ways. It's a pendulum. If I'm working on corrective exercise and I'm all left all the time because my right knee hurts, so now I'm getting stronger here, I start doing more and more on my right side, and I do too much. Now all of a sudden I start developing maybe hip pain or low back pain or knee issues on the left side. That's because I am now doing too much on the right side. So bringing it back and keeping your exercise selection balanced out depending on where your past injuries are, what your current goals are, what you're trying to achieve. But remember, our brain goes to the direction that we teach it to. If I'm constantly strength training my right side, I'm always going to be, it's going to just make that knee stronger, and then it's going to pull things over. Generally, dominant sides pull the spine. So if I'm dominant on my right, it's going to pull my pelvis and hip over this way. If I'm dominant to my left, it's going to pull my pelvis and my hips this way, which will lead to other issues up and down the kinetic chain. Might lead to shoulder issues, might lead to ankle issues, might lead to different knee issues or hip issues. So being aware of your corrective exercise and, after an injury is leave it to the professionals. To be honest, like if you're trying to balance out, some imbalance from an old injury on your own, maybe you'll figure it out, but a good physical therapist, that's their job. They know, they've seen it all. They're educated in it. They understand the anatomy and the physiology that goes into it. They understand the language that the brain talks to the muscles. They understand that neuro programming, the software talking to the hardware. That's a physical therapist thing. That's an athletic trainer thing. Great personal trainers know how to do it. But just understand that figuring out on yourself oftentimes leads to other issues. Maybe you're saving some money watching the stuff on YouTube, going to the gym and doing it, $40 a month for the membership, you're getting stronger, great. But maybe one day you go in and you work out and something tweaks. And you're like, what happened? And you realize, oh, I should have been doing something that a physical therapist would have warned me about or taught me about. Then I wouldn't have to give up my exercise program. And now I'm not working out. Now I'm injured. Now I have to go to the doctor. Now I have to lose time at work. Whereas if you just went to a professional beforehand, you would have avoided all of that. So public service announcement, don't try to figure out movement correction on your own. I've been doing this for 20 years and I still learn something new every day. I understand the body more than most, but I also understand human psychology, and I like to figure out things myself. And I oftentimes should have gone to a third party to look at my own issues, because when you're in your own body, no matter how much you know about your body, having a third party to look at different angles, look at different perspectives is always going to pay off in preventing and future injuries and correcting old injuries. So just kind of sidebar there when you are working on some of these exercises, these movements, these pain reduction techniques, these preventative, corrective exercise techniques, that you are seeking the help of a professional and making sure they are a part of your team. Whether it's just, hey, can I call you on the phone, ask you about some stuff? Most of us will say, yeah, we'd love to help out. Or just come back in and do a 30-minute session with us. Let's see where you're at, what you've worked on, what you haven't been working on, what you need more work on, where your tightnesses are, where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, what angles are good for you, what resistances are good for you. Maybe bands are good for you. Maybe dumbbells are good for you. Maybe overhead stuff should be avoided. Maybe you should be balancing on your left leg more than your right. Maybe you shouldn't be doing lunges because of your knees. Maybe you should be doing squats with your knees at a different angle. These are all things that a movement specialist, a professional in physical therapy, athletic training can help you with, so that you're not trying to figure it out on your own. When you're young, yeah, you can get away with it, but as you're getting older, doing things improperly are going to start compounding and causing more and more issues. And then you're going to have to then seek more expensive treatment options, which could have been avoided if you had just kind of talked to a professional. So I really just say that as kind of a public service announcement, as when I send people out on their own, 9 times out of 10, they end up doing it wrong. And I see them, they have to come back for the same issue or a new issue. And I would hate for you to be in that same boat. Because I've seen it countless times. So, sidebar, sorry, we'll get back into working out. We did some plyometrics there. I'm going to do some, let's go out in the other room. We'll play around with some other exercises here. I've been talking a lot during this workout program today, so apologies if you're not getting anything out of this. But I hope that maybe a couple things that I have talked about may impart some knowledge upon you in which you can better your life and be a more functional, pain-free human. All right, so I'm going to do some different agility stuff because I want to work agility today. All right. I'm going to go on the grass. I like the grass because it's got a little bit of a cushion to it. It allows me to feel a little more natural on my feet. So let's talk about running. And as you might notice, I'm not wearing shoes. And the reason I don't wear shoes is because I was not born with shoes on. If you were born with shoes on, please leave the comment in the comment section, because I would like to see a picture of you as a baby with shoes on after you were delivered. I don't think it's possible. Running with modern footwear messes up the way we land on the earth. So I like to teach people how to run by having them run in place. Taking their knees up, staying on their toes, swinging their arms. Just doing that. You do that for 20 minutes, guarantee your heart rate's going to be up. Guarantee your calves will be sore the next day. Your hip flexors will be sore too. So I like to run in place. It's very safe to do. You're not dealing with cars. If you have balance issues, you can keep a chair next to you so you can always reach out and grab something. If you're bored at home and you want to get some cardio in, get in front of the TV, start lifting those knees. The difference between running and what I'm doing right now is simply falling forward. So when I'm running in place, I'm keeping my skeleton upright. When I lean forward, I start running forward. That is the only difference between running in place and running outside, is lifting the knees, lifting the hips, falling forward. Leaning backwards, same thing, I'm just leaning back. Running forwards, leaning forwards, leaning back. So my throttle, if I want to run faster, I just lean forward faster or further. So if I want to sprint, my trunk is leaning far forward. and I'm just lifting my feet faster to catch myself. Running, and walking for that matter, is a series of controlled falls. I'm falling and I'm catching myself. Falling and catching myself. So I'm literally just leaning forward, catching myself, catching myself, catching myself, catching myself. When you are catching yourself, you're landing softer, you're landing through the fore and midfoot, so you're absorbing that impact through your calves, through the knees, through the hips, in more of a spring mechanic. Versus, if I kick my leg out and land on my heel, I'm stopping my momentum, and I'm having to lift that back leg and do the same thing. And now what happens there is I stop and I go, and I stop and I go. It's very inefficient versus just lifting my feet and leaning forward. So I'm shortening my stride length, and I'm speeding up my stride rate. So I'm lifting my knees faster and landing shorter. And I'll cover just as much ground as if I was taking a long stride and so increasing my stride length and shortening my stride rate. So rate would be how many steps do I take a minute. So optimally, you want more steps versus less steps a minute and shorter stride length. And that's going to be less impactful on your joints. You're going to land softer. This is a good cardiovascular exercise in between strength training sets. If you're doing some interval training and you want to do some upper body weights, and you want to get a little cardio going in between, just find a nice place to run in place. This will improve your running mechanics out in the real world. This will generally, if you have runner's knee, shin splints, you'll probably get rid of them if you run at the shorter stride length, faster stride rate. I teach this to a lot of people that have quit running because it hurts their knees, or they want to start running because they've always wanted to. This is just this is timing. This is neuromuscular re-education. This is teaching your body how to sync up with your brain. Your brain says, hey, lift my hip flexor, lift my hip flexor, lift my hip flexor. Repetition, 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 repetition. Training your software is training the hardware how to operate consistently and repetitively. So you are rewiring your software. Your brain is plastic. It changes based on what you ask it to do. So I'm asking my brain to relearn how to run. Running in place is a great way to do that. You do this 10,000 steps, then you put it out, then you go outside, do 10,000 steps like this, and lean forward, you're running. You're running, baby. And there's no knee pain because you're using your muscles, not your joints. You're not pounding on your joints. You're absorbing the impact, absorbing that nice soft landing, using your calves. You're burning calories to land softer. You're not just plodding through it and pounding that heel into the ground. That's horrible. You're gonna have a really short running career if you're pounding that heel into the ground. Most of us can do it into our 20s and 30s, but ultimately, you're going to wear out. Some people are freaks. They can have horrible form their entire life and never have issues. But they're kind of on the bell curve. They're kind of the outliers. Generally speaking, most people can't land on their heels and pound for much past the 30s and 40s. So this is a good interval set if you're doing some upper body strength training or even some legs. Get a little running in place jogging action in it. Now, you can add agility to this. This is good for working on speed. You can start kind of running in place faster and kind of chopping your legs. And then we can start to go left and right. So the left and right starts to add that directional shift, which is now getting lateral and medial muscles having to work more to stabilize our ankles and our knees and our hips and our spine. So if you want to put a band against the wall there and pull it and just stay against that resistance, or the other way, or have a partner hold a band and pull on you, you can do that, or a trainer. So we start now adding, we're still doing the running pattern, but then we're kind of going faster, and then we're going side to side. So again, speed, agility, reaction time, coordination. Now, if you want to really challenge your brain, cross one limb past your midline. So let's say I want to go that way with my feet, but I put my hand this way. Now I put my hand this way. Now I put my hand this way. Now my brain, my calves are on fire. Now my brain is having to go cross hemisphere. Now my right side of my brain is telling my left leg to come over here, or actually my left arm to come over here. My left hemisphere of my brain is telling my right hand to come over here. While my right hemisphere is telling my legs, my left leg to go this way, and my left hemisphere is telling my right leg to go this way. So now we're starting to cross hemispheres between the right hemisphere of the brain and the left hemisphere of the body. The left hemisphere of the brain and the right hemisphere of the body. So when you start crossing that midline, crossing from hemisphere to hemisphere, you're starting to make connections between the two hemispheres of the brain. Making connections back and forth releases lots of neurotransmitters, like acetylcholine, like norepinephrine, I don't know, a bunch of neurotransmitters which are good for helping your brain work better. You can look them up if you want. But for some reason, acetylcholine came to mind because I was just watching a podcast about choline, and which is a B vitamin found in the egg yolks. It's really good for improving your acetylcholine production. But when you start crossing hemispheres when you're working out, you are now better capable of cognitive improvements in your brain. Because if your brain has to cross hemispheres, it's producing more neurotransmitters. So now when there's more neurotransmitters, you're actually setting your brain up into a more, a better conducive environment for learning new things, for improved cognitive function, for memorization. Say you're learning a new language. Practice your language, your new language, while you're exercising, while you're running, while you're trying those cross-hemisphere movements. And you're going to notice that compared to just sitting at a desk and learning that language, you are going to improve your language learning capacity because you have more of those chemicals in your brain that are helping you to retain things, to memorize things. So learning while exercising, and then learning while exercising doing cross-body movements, rotational movements, is going to greatly improve your cognitive function, your memory ability, all kinds of benefits. Sleep's going to get better because now your brain's more tired, so at night you're going to get better sleep. So when you're exercising, don't waste the opportunity to improve cognitive function, because once your brain starts, getting older, it's gonna, if you're not stimulating it, if you're not putting a load of learning onto it, you are going to spiral down. 1 in 5 people have Alzheimer's, or 1 in 10, either way. If it's 10% or 20% of people have Alzheimer's, that's horrible. You don't want Alzheimer's. So how do you improve, or how do you decrease that risk? Well, you sleep better, that always helps to kind of get rid of that gunk. But you also keep your brain stimulated. If you're doing a job that is just not stimulating, and you're doing it all your life, you're not challenging your brain, and then you retire, and then all you want to do is, watch TV or, just be sedentary, your brain is just, and you're going to be at higher risk of some of these neurodegenerative conditions like Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. That all happens because we're not stimulating the load on our brain. We're not putting more emphasis on brain health. Physical health and brain health need to go together. They can play well together. The more you're exercising, the more blood flow and oxygen you're getting to your brain, definitely great. People that run, people that exercise, they have a lot less likelihood of Alzheimer's, a lot less likelihood of dementia. But if you can find ways to decrease that risk even more, wouldn't you want to take it? So when I'm having my clients work out, I'm engaging their cognitive functioning. I'm having them do the cross patterning. I'm having them think about things, verbalize things, solve problems, while they're exercising, while they're exerting force, while they're moving and grooving, because I'm doing them a disservice if I'm just barking orders at them and having them do 10 more and push it harder and push harder. And yes, that is great. They're going to live longer, but I could be stacking other benefits on top of that while I'm working out with them. I can teach them some things that are going to make this guy be able to perform at a high level as we get older. We're going to sleep better. We're going to move better. We're going to be just highly functional as we get older, because when we exercise, we're adding that cognitive improvement layer to it. So that's the reason why I like to mix it up, go back and forth, rotational stuff, cross the midline of the body. Balance is critical. We haven't done a lot of balance today. Actually, let's segue into balance now, because I like to integrate balance into everything that I'm doing, every workout. All of my clients get balance. Easiest way to balance, shocker, lift the leg. That's number one. Now a lot of people, that's hard for them. So what I tell people is put all your weight on your left leg, and then put your right toe on the ground. And keep 95% of your weight on your left leg. That alone will start stimulating some of those muscles in your ankle, your feet, your knees, your hips. Kind of get that proprioception, awareness of where your body is in space. Keep your eyes on the horizon, so that now I'm using my vestibular system, the fluid in my ears, to keep me more balanced. If I start turning my head around, I'm going to be all over the place, because now that fluid in my ears is sloshing around. Excuse me. So eyes straight ahead. So now I want to challenge myself. I'm going to lift my leg up. So now I'm balancing through my left leg. Now, again, eyes on horizon, easy. Turning my head, hard. Shutting my eyes, even harder. Whoa! So those are different layers of intensity. If you want to just go one leg up, turn your head, hard. Shut your eyes, harder. Shut your eyes and turn your head, hardest. So I challenge you to do that. Make sure it's close to something you can hold on to so you don't lose your balance. I take it for granted that I have good balance, but most people, unless you're working on balance every day, you are going downhill with your balance every day you get older. So each day we're a day older. So after about 25 to 30, we kind of get it to our peak physical performance, balance, cognition around our mid to late 30s. And then after that, every day, you've got to do something. You're either going to age like this, or you're going to age like this. I'd rather age like this versus like this. So doing things each day to stimulate the different systems of our body, whether it's cardiorespiratory, strength, balance, agility, better sleep, nutrition, all the things that you have control over, you need to be challenging yourself each day. Otherwise, you're going to be another statistic. You're going to be obese or diabetic or have Parkinson's, or, sometimes we just get unlucky. People that are super healthy, do everything perfect, they did a condition that is just rare. But there's a lot of conditions that we do have control over and preventing our risk of acquiring. Things like type 2 diabetes, cardiorespiratory diseases, cardiac, heart diseases. Like heart disease is like things that happen from high blood pressure. If you have high blood pressure, that can be decreased with exercise. So if you can lower your blood pressure just by moving, why wouldn't you do that? Unless you like heart attacks, unless you like strokes. Believe me, I've rehabbed hundreds of stroke survivors. I've rehabbed lots of people with a history of heart disease or heart attacks or heart arrhythmias. Believe me, you don't want to deal with that. Like a lot of people that I've seen that come out of those conditions, they were rather just have ended it, because it's a really challenging existence to live without like the whole right side of your body, or not being able to get up out of a chair without getting winded. that's no way to live. So if you can do things right now to prevent that, why wouldn't you? Like, I have been fortunate enough to work again with 18-year-olds to 100-year-olds. And the ones that make it past their 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s are the ones that made a decision early on in their life to continue to do something every day. Whether it's stimulating their body, their lungs, their heart, their brain, exercise, reading, sleeping better, eating better, taking each day and saying, what can I do today to stave off that age-related decline in cognitive function with strength, with bone growth. Everything slows down as we get older. Everything takes longer. So if you're waiting till tomorrow to start exercising, that's fine. At least you're doing it tomorrow, but you better do it tomorrow, because each day you go without it, it's getting harder and harder to fend off that aging process. So sorry, that's just one of the things that I work with a lot of older people, and I see the ones that are taking the steps to live longer. They look so much younger too. I constantly see some of my clients that are in their late 70s and 80s, and when somebody new comes in and sees them doing push-ups and pull-ups, and like, how do they do that? Like, well, they do it all the time. They consistently challenge themselves. They didn't just jump up on the bar and do it on day one. They've been repetitively, progressively getting better at it. And dealing with old injuries, rehabbing old injuries, preventing new injuries, and taking a step every day to get better, to improve their lifespan, to just get stronger each and every day. So that's the moral of the story, folks. If you want to live longer and healthier, you got to move. You got to challenge your balance. You got to challenge your brain. You got to sleep good. All the things that everybody tells you to do, do it. If you're not sure how to do it, if you have questions, message us, leave comments, start following us. I'm going to start doing more informative sessions, ask me questions. I want to help out. I want to teach what I've learned, because I've learned a lot working with clients of all ages with neurological conditions. And no matter how challenging you think this is, or whatever barriers or hurdles that you feel are in your way, let me and the trainers and the therapists here at Best Day help you. Let me give you the tools, give you the accountability, teach you the skills to level it up every day. Thank you guys for joining today. I hope everyone has the best day ever. I'm going to go and grab some grub now, because I've been talking a lot and I'm a little sweaty, so I'm thirsty and hungry. Thank you guys. Have your best day ever. Peace.